Yo, family, so the job market right now for all designers is very rough. I've spoken to, some of my colleagues who have been applying to jobs for 9, 10 months at a time, and these are experienced individuals. I've also spoken to some of the people that I mentor who have gotten ghosted by recruiters, or they're not getting any callbacks at all after applying to hundreds of different places. And through these conversations that I've been having with some of the people that I mentor, they ask me, yo, Jeremy, what would you do if you were in my position? So in this video, I want to talk about what I would do if I was applying to all these different roles and I was going through the frustration of getting ghosted. So the first thing that I would do is think about my bigger goal, right? What's the big vision? And why do I keep pounding my face in the ground, applying to all these different roles, right? What is it that is keeping me going? That's the first thing that I would think about. Do I want to be a designer because it's going to fulfill some innate feeling within me, and is it going to validate me to feel like I am who I say that I am, right? Is that why you keep pursuing what you're pursuing? Think about that. Or is it because you want to work towards a bigger vision, right? Think about what the end goal is, because if the end goal is to build a house, if the end goal is to travel the world and, work remotely, you don't necessarily have to be a designer right now to pursue that bigger vision, right? So think about that first. What is the end goal that you have in mind? A lot of people don't really understand that, or they haven't asked themselves that question. Now, I have 5 different ideas as well that I wrote down that I'll tell you guys about, because maybe it might, have you think about going after your job a little bit differently, or maybe it might give you some hope. The first is that you might want to rethink how you're applying to these different positions. A lot of the people that I mentor, they are just going through LinkedIn, Indeed, and all these job application sites, sending out their resumes. In my opinion, sometimes that could be like sending out your resume to a black hole, and you're depending on an algorithm to build out your future. And I think that from what I've learned in life, if somebody is not giving you an opportunity, you have to create your own opportunity, right? So a couple ways that you could do that is invest in people and build relationships, right? You can go to sites like ADP List. You can find a mentor, invest in that mentor for the next few months, and maybe if there's a role at the place that they work at that opens up, you might be the first person that comes to their mind. The next thing that you could do is invest in communities online or offline. I've been a part of some paid communities, and I think personally that those are some of the best investments that I've ever made, because there have been a lot of small business owners that I've met. There have been, potential freelance opportunities that, I can work on. But there might also be some contract work. You never know. But this spaces that you actually want to learn about. It doesn't necessarily have to be about design. It could be about meditation. It could be about things that you're interested in. The point that I'm trying to make is that, investing in people is how you get to opportunities. Don't just invest in people specifically for opportunities, but I'm saying very broadly that people know about opportunities. So invest in those communities, invest in relationships. Another thing that you could do is hone in on a skill that fits within design but is not necessarily related to design. And what I mean by that is that design is very broad. There's a bunch of different skills that you need in order to be successful. So you can work in sales, you can find a job that allows you to learn more about AI prompting, such as in marketing. You can work in a strategic role, or a role that allows you to be a problem solver, right? Designers, in my opinion, we're problem solving all day with people around us. We're trying to co-create, we're trying to sell our ideas, we're trying to establish relationships where we could influence people, right? So think about other jobs outside of design where you can build up some of those soft skills. Right? Use it as an opportunity to build the soft skills. You know, for me, I wasn't really sure when I graduated what I wanted to do creatively, but I knew that understanding business could be the backbone of my career. And I knew nothing about business. I was like, you know, somebody who was an illustrator. I was somebody who had a bunch of ideas, but I didn't know how to sell my ideas, which is why I got into sales, right? I was a horrible public speaker. I didn't know how to sell shit, you know, and I also wanted to learn about marketing and branding, right? So I put myself in those positions, and eventually I found that, you know, those were some foundational skills that differentiated me in terms of being a designer. So you don't have to necessarily go after a design job, but focus on a job that can help you see the bigger picture when it comes to design. A third idea I had is that you can go the freelance route, doing paid work or unpaid work. And yes, that is very challenging because you're going at it on your own, but you can also invest in the community. Think about these other ways to combine these, you know, different things that I'm talking about. You can invest in a mentor, invest in the community. Whatever challenge you're going through, try to tap into those communities to gain those other skills. The fourth idea I had is that you can build your dream project. There's a designer that I know, his name is Philip Anand. He actually used to have his own agency. Now he does, you know, his own work on the side, but his like real, it seems like what he's doing now is building his dream home, right? And who knows what the hell he's gonna do afterwards, but I'm sure that, you know, by sharing the work that he's doing, he might get tapped for a job to do interior design or architecture, right? But he used to be an illustrator. Right, so he's tapping into these dream projects now that will build towards, you know, something else in the future. You can also start a nonprofit. You can start a community, right? Building something allows you to craft a unique story. All right, your story is what connects you to the next job and the next gig. So always think about, you know, what are you doing right now to build an interesting story that is gonna, you know, help people lean in, right, and be interested in who you are. Because I think that, especially with AI growing and developing day by day, I think that your humanity is what makes you different, right? Your humanity, the things that you're interested in, the problems that you want to solve in the world, you know, those are your unique selling points. So think about how you can craft your story, maybe by building out your own, you know, dream project. Or the fifth thing that you could do is keep applying. But we all know that that can be very frustrating. You know, it can be hard to deal with rejection and have the motivation to keep going, right? So at the end of the day, I think that, you know, what I would do is build the dream project, right? I think that design is all about crafting an interesting story. You know, even me just building my own YouTube channel has been a part of my story. Me mentoring is a part of my story. And now, you know, doing other things outside of design that can help me be seen as a leader, but, you know, in ways that are very true to who I am, right? So that's how I would approach it, right? So you don't necessarily have to do any of these things, but just wanted to spur some ideas in case you're struggling, or in case, you know, you needed some help on that front. Oh, and I almost forgot. You know, I think that, you know, the younger generation right now, you guys are dealing with UFOs coming to the planet. You're dealing with, you know, coming out of a pandemic. It's a lot harder than things used to be, right? So give yourself some credit if you're going after these jobs and you're not giving up. But, you know, your mindset and you know, your mental health is more important than ever, because we have gone through a lot as a society, and I know that everybody's going through their own individual things, especially, you know, using social media so much and comparing yourself. It's a lot, right? So give yourself some credit, understand to rest, right? Take breaks, do things that are good for you as a human being. So always think about the bigger picture, right? Life is very short, and you want to make sure that you're good, right? And you're good with the people around you. Make sure to drink water, love, go out for a date, you know, kick it with the homies, kick it with the family, right? Do all those things while you aim for the bigger visions. But look at life in totality. Just don't look at one job or one role and think that this has to be it. And if it's not working, life is screwed, right? Life is very beautiful if we acknowledge the things that we have around us and embrace those things. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna stop ranting. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.